Lift our hearts, lift our strains, let's revere our school of fame, ever true, loyal through, for our colors white and blue. Dear Princeton High School, our love, our pride, we've always held you as our shining guide, our joys, our sorrows, hopes, dreams, and fears. We shared in PHS halls, we'll live through coming years.
This is Craig May in the Princeton High School Gymnasium, where tonight the air is filled along with the gymnasium. We have a packed house, and the air is filled with a sense of anticipation as we are expecting, I guess the only word to describe it would be clash between the number 1 and number 3 rated AAA teams of West Virginia. The Princeton Tigers, the home standing team this evening, going against the Williamson Wolfpack under new head coach Alan Hatcher doing the honors over at Williamson, and he's put together a fine program over there. The undefeated number 1 ranked AAA team of West Virginia. I've got Glenn May alongside, Bob Graham, Charlie Wright, and Jack Galera, and a very special pregame guest we'll be talking to in just a moment. But first of all, we want to remind you that tonight's ball game being brought to you over WAEY by Mercer County Bank, Bondurant Oldsmobile, Pepsi-Cola Bottling Company, Murphy Insurance Agency, Leggett Department Store, and Dalton Automotive. We'll be back with our pregame show right after this. We're back in the Princeton High School Gymnasium where we are awaiting the start of tonight's contest. As we said, the Williamson Wolfpack in to do battle with the Princeton Tigers, and we are expecting quite a Donnybrook. Alongside, I've got a very special Princetonian supporter in Ray Lynch. How you doing, Ray?
Just fine, Craig. It's kind of wild in here tonight, isn't it?
Slightly, yeah. Hey, Ray, let me ask you something. Of the people in Princeton, you probably know more about the Williamson team than anybody. What can we expect here this evening?
We can expect a run and gun ball game, a lot of shooting. It's going to be a high-scoring game, a lot of fast breaks. It's going to be hard to keep up with. You guys got to talk real fast tonight. It's the Williamson team is big. We just call every other one. The Williamson team is big. They're fast. They like to break. They're just a real quick ball team. I think that's probably the secret to the game tonight, is possibly to break their tempo. Although Princeton's a good running ball team, I think probably we're going to have to break their tempo of run and gun.
Now, I talked to Coach Hatcher before the ball game, about a half hour before, and the thing that really amazed me is, you know, they're more than halfway through their season, and they don't have any injury or sickness at all. They've got a boy by the name of Fletcher, who's one of their starters, who had an ankle injury a couple of weeks ago, and he missed 1 game. But he says he's back probably to 95%. They said they tape up his ankle, but it's mainly just precautionary measure.
I think probably they don't have a lot of injuries because a lot of the boys have not had to have a lot of playing time. They've pretty well blown most of the people off the floor that they've played this year. Played subs a lot during the second quarter, played subs a lot during the fourth quarter. That's not to say that they're one of the, an awesome team, but I'm not sure their schedule has been that strong. So their substitutes have seen a lot of playing time. The time I've seen them, particularly last week against Belfry, by the middle of the second quarter, the game was decided, and the subs played a lot of the rest of the way through.
You're talking a little bit about their schedule, and I was noticing their schedule before the ball game. I went down over it. They play an awful lot of AA schools, and maybe even, I don't know, is Mate 1 AA?
They run AA.
Are they even single A? I do too. I started to say the first single A. Why don't you go over what you got there and tell us how the Williamson Wolfpack has fared so far this year?
Okay, well, they started off against Big Creek with a big win of 95-59. And then probably one of the 2 or 3 tougher teams they played was Huntington High. They beat them 71-63. They beat Huntington East 72-57 and turned around and beat Huntington High again 81-67. They beat Logan twice in the season, Greg. First they beat them when Logan was battered, bruised, and sick. They beat them 79-61, and then just a couple weeks ago, Logan slowed things down on them, but they still beat Logan 49-38. Probably, other than Logan and Huntington, the toughest team they played is a school over in Kentucky called Williamson High School, or Bergy High School it is. And Bergy was ranked 5th in the state of Kentucky, but again, that was AA when they played them. And they beat them 80-58. I understand now that Bergy has dropped down to about 9th in the state. But again, that's a AA school. Other than Logan and Huntington, of whom are down, Logan, I think, last week when I saw their schedule, they were still on the losing end, about 7-9.
What's their record now? 12-0 or something like that?
Williamson's 14-0.
14-0.
Right.
The Tigers going at 10-4 on the season. But you know, you look back over the Tigers' losses. Of course, the first one that came at the hands of North Fork right here in the Christmas tournament. And you know, you really can't say anybody played badly when they lose to North Fork, because you can play the best ball you're capable of and still lose to North Fork. And then, of course, that happened again over at the Armory. Another one came up at Beckley when the Tigers came out a little bit flat that night. And then, of course, down in Tennessee against the #1 team in Tennessee. But, you know, the Tigers were never out of the ball game.
That's something back before the start of the season that I always talked about was that Princeton could win a state championship this year. They could be a tremendous team, and they could still lose 5 or 6 ball games because of the schedule they're playing. It's one of the toughest schedules around, and you can't expect this team not to lose some ball games. And when you look at the total number of points they lost by, they've had a real good season. That's the one thing that I think that maybe the Tigers have going for them. Williamson has not been in a tight ball game. Williamson has not had to play 4 quarters with anybody. Even a game they won by about 8 points against one of the Huntington teams, they were ahead about 24 in the 3rd quarter, and they brought their subs in, and then they had to bring the regulars back out and hang on for an 8-point win. But I'm not sure they've played the tough schedule, and I think that's going to go to Princeton's favor.
All righty, we're about 10 minutes away from tip-off, and we're talking with Ray Lynch in the Princeton High School Gymnasium. We'll be back to talk a little bit more when we return right after this.
Yeah, I would say the Tigers play a much tougher schedule than what Williamson has played. And I think that's going to be paying off tonight. Princeton's had to play 4 quarters of basketball, keep their starters in all night long, and they're in condition to play this. And Williamson has not been tested. And I think, you know, if you go into the 4th quarter, particularly the last 3 or 4 minutes of the game, and it's a tight game, that really the momentum has to go to Princeton because of the experience they've had today. However, again, this is an experienced team. You start 4 seniors and a sophomore. This Klein boy is a tremendous sophomore. He's got a lot of ability. Last week they made a big deal out of the local paper down there when they announced that he had grown 1.5 inches since they had fixed the program. I don't know when they made the measurements for the program. He'd gone from 6'6" to 6'7.5". He's the boy to watch. He's going to bring the ball down if he gets a rebound. If he doesn't get the rebound, he's one of the first ball players down the floor, and they'd like to throw it to him and get the crowd psyched up with one of those fast breaks and a dunk on the end. And they look a lot to him. He's got a soft touch outside in their controlled offense. So he's really the kid to watch. Although they've got 5 ball players that are averaging double figures, it's a real balanced team. But Klein's the real spark plug of the group.
Great standing room only crowd. You know,
They told me, some of the folks over there told me last week that we could expect 400 to 600 of them to come from Williamson. And most people around here know that's no fun drive from Williamson down Route 52 over here. So these people are real excited. I tell you, I'd like to see a good crowd from Princeton down there too, because that place is a crazy place to play basketball. They've got a loud band. We saw a little bit of their dunk show tonight that they like to psych the crowd out with, and they do that a lot down there. And so regardless of the game tonight, the season-ending block, I would just urge everybody to get in their cars, take their Dramamine, and run on down to Williamson and watch the ball game. It is play. Didn't catch expect to see Williamson come out running and gunning. They're going to want to run the ball. They want to dictate the tempo. They're going to be going. Their guards like to drive inside, pass off the line or short. I think the real thing is we're going to watch them run. If we can stop the running game, I think we can knock them out of the tempo. I'm prejudiced. I'll go Princeton by 3. Up in the 8th.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you, man.
Got old Watashi sitting here now with the headset on. Got Bob Graham alongside. Bob, I couldn't count all the heads, couldn't see them, but I counted all the feet divided by 2, and we got 3,600 feet in here. 3,200 feet divided by 2 gives us 3,600 people.
At least. This is the
Totally right. Counted eyes divided by 2.
Sure did.
How many you get?
32. Right.
I'm surprised Jack Ladd didn't count feet.
But I'm not sure what he would have had to divide by.
I don't know, but if it gets rough out here tonight, like it does down Kingsport, they won't have to divide by as many tomorrow night.
That's right. We're going to have to stand up quite a bit tonight, Glenn. And you might mention the show that went on before this game.
They had quite an illegal show as both teams come out dunking a ball warm-up, which is a technical foul, a no-no. Right now, while we got a chance, let's make sure we pay some dues. Fred Saunders' wife. And Fred is one of the fellows out of Princeton Armature who sponsors many of our ball games. Fred's wife is very seriously ill in the Bluefield Community Hospital. And, of course, Quentin Barnett was planning on being here tonight. Quentin can't be with us, so Quentin, we hope you're tuned in and hope you're feeling better.
Well, I hope Quentin's feeling better, too. And I suspect sometime before this season is over, if there's any way possible, Quentin Barnett will be at one of these ball games.
I certainly hope that he can make it. I hope he feels well, and we're certainly thinking about him here tonight. Many of the people here in the crowd are, because I had it mentioned to me by at least 6 or 7 as I was coming up to the broadcast position here.
You know, there hasn't been a ball game that someone, whether it was Gail Catlett or just someone from the fans, come up and mention Quentin Barnett during the ball game.
That's right. Gary McPherson made a special mention as we mentioned Quentin. As we've got the co-captains down at center court right now, and of course there's James DeWitt and Jim Miller out for the Tigers. And for the Williamson Wolfpack, we got Towns and Fletcher. It's Curtis Towns, and of course it's Bobby Fletcher, and I guess that's probably Mark Klein or Kenny Swartz, the other one, because he's the biggest guy out there. Bob, what do you expect to see, buddy?
A lot of points. I definitely don't expect the Greenbrier East to amount few games. I do not expect either of these teams to slow it down. Maybe Princeton might want to control the tempo a little bit more than Williamson. I'm not sure. I expect to see the ball up a lot, and it's going to be a real tug of war.
All right, now to control crowd control, I want to keep your guys' mic keyed down a little bit, because otherwise they're going to blast us out, okay? As we're ready to introduce the starting lineup right now, and while we're doing that, we'll pause 30 seconds for this message.
Okay, quickly, it'll be 6'7.5", Mark Klein at center, Julius Hatcher at one of the forwards, Julius Hatcher at a guard, Bobby Fletcher the forward, Curtis Towns the other guard, and Kenny Schwartz at 6'6" at the other forward. Charlie?
Okay, for Princeton tonight, starting at point guard will be Mike, be Jeff Thankfair. The other guard will be Mike East. At one of the forward positions will be Stephon Strange. At the other forward position will be James DeWitt. Starting at center will be Jimmy Miller.
Boy, it's going to be noisy in here tonight. As the Tigers being introduced right now, as we're going out, of course, the Tigers coming in off of that heartbreaking defeat to Dobbins-Bennett, the number 1 ranked team in the state of Tennessee. However, they did not outplay the Tigers. They just happened to be ahead when the gun went off.
That's not Kaza. They have to be ahead to into the game, and they have more players.
As Jimmy Miller being introduced, of course, Jim's the wheelhouse of the outfit. Everything revolves around Jim. Mike Eads being introduced, and we're waiting for Jeff St. Clair to come out. And then we're ready for basketball. As the Wolfpack's already on the floor, waiting on the Tigers to come out. And out there standing out quietly waiting is number 42 is Mark Klein. We'll see if we can make sure we got identities on these people. 34 is Bobby Fletcher. And 32 is Kenny Swartz. Of course, number 5 is Curtis Towns. Number 10 is Julius Hatcher. All right, looks like Bobby Fletcher warming up to jump. Now, he's only 6'5", but he's jumping rather than one of the two. They got 2 6'7" kids out there. But Fletcher standing in the center circle, waiting on Miller to come out. And Jim standing just off the side of the circle right now in the edge of the blue, ready to move in, waiting on the official to get ready. The officials tonight, George Pack and Pete Kelly out of the Canoa Valley. And they're questioning something right now. The Williamson cheerleaders are strung out all the way across the floor under the Tiger basket. As we got people standing all around, we can't get them all down. So Miller's in now. We've got Fletcher's in, waiting on the official. Tosses up and tipped by the Wolfpack. Controlled by Kenny Swartz. Swartz plays it for Towns. Towns brings it to the left side to Swartz. Swartz gives it back outside to Towns. Towns takes it over to Hatcher. Hatcher looking inside, gives it to Towns, firing off the glass. No good. Rebound loose, picked up by DeWitt. The Tigers have the ball. James DeWitt gives it to Jeff St. Clair. Jeff will set the offense. They bring it to the front court to the right side to James DeWitt. Goes to the baseline, drops it underneath the Miller. Wheels, deals, puts it up and in. Jim Miller. The Tigers up 10-0. And the Tigers with a face-up man-to-man has the ball knocked out of bounds by Williamson, by Towns. It'll be Tiger ball at midcourt. DeWitt will inbound it as the Tigers force the turnover with the press. Inbound pass to Jeff St. Clair. And he directs traffic, tells them we want him to roll them left to right. To DeWitt on the right wing. Now to St. Clair, top of the key. We got Stephon on the wing, left side. Back to St. Clair. Now to Eads. Eads moves it toward the lane. Goes into the lane. Backs it out. Gives it to St. Clair. He'll fire from 21 feet off the iron. No good. Rebound, pull down. Knocked out of bounds off the Tigers. It'll be Williamson ball. And they'll play it off their own baseline. As Towns inbounds it to Hatcher. As Julius Hatcher moves it to the front court on the dribble. Gets around Eads. Goes to the top of the key. Miller heads him off. He backs out. The Tigers into a 2-1-2 zone right now. Pretty flexible. 2-3 zone, really. As Towns with the ball for Williamson. Cross court with it to Hatcher. Firing and DeWitt pushing. DeWitt puts the cork on the shot. And knocks it out of bounds. It'll be Williamson ball. As Mark Klein will inbound it for Williamson. As Klein has the inbound pass over by James DeWitt. The quick hand pulled it in. He was trying to get it to Towns, and DeWitt came up with it. Gives it to St. Clair and the Tigers to the front court to the offense. As St. Clair, the Eads on the wing, left side to DeWitt, high post, fake. Gives to Miller on the baseline, drives, goes under. They double team him, gives it back outside to Eads. Eads gives it to St. Clair, top of the key. Now they go to Miller. He's on the low post, turning, firing off the baseline, no good. Rebound, front court, comes down to Williamson. They're out running. Hatcher with the ball, goes down, drives, fires, good. He is fouled by St. Clair. He is fouled by St. Clair. The bucket was good. The foul on Jeff, that's number 1 on Jeff. Team foul number 1 on the Tigers. And we've got to jump up and down to see what's going on. People standing all around us. And then we'll put Hatcher on the free throw line to shoot one. 2-2. Tie ball game right now with 6:28 to play in the first quarter. Julius Hatcher on the free throw line for Williamson. That's Hatcher dribbling with the ball. Fires. Off the flange, no good. Rebound chased down by Stephon Strain. Stephon feeds it to St. Clair. Jeff will bring it to the front court. To DeWitt on the right side. Firing from 25. It's off the iron, no good. Rebound fought for. Rolled down by Williamson. And Swartz pulls it down. He gives it to Towns. Towns into the front court. Drops it underneath. Fletcher. Fletcher's got it on the fast break. Bucket good. 4-2. The Tigers trail. Aziz will bring it to the front court for the Tigers. Down the left side with it. Turns it toward the baseline. Works in. Fires off the baseline. No good. Rebound. Pulled down by Williamson. Swartz controlling. as they get it out to Fletcher to Klein. And it's knocked loose underneath. Now they put it up. As a rebound comes off, pulled down by Stefan. As Mark Klein missed the shot. And Stefan Lindor come over the rebound. The St. Clair, the Tigers trailing by 2 with 5:43 to play. As DeWitt drives the baseline, drops it to Stefan. We got a charging foul on DeWitt. Number 1 on James DeWitt. Team foul number 2 on the Tigers. And the Tigers want a timeout, so it's 5:39 left to play in the first quarter. Williamson 4, Princeton 2. We'll be back right after this. All right, the Williamson cheerleaders just going back in, and Bob, it's going to be a tough rebounding night for the Tigers.
Well, it is. They have that size inside 6'6", 6'5", 6'7 and a half. And so far they're doing a pretty good job on the board. Princeton, DeWitt, and Strain in particular are going to have to really hustle to get their rebounds tonight.
As we're ready to play, they bring them back out. The Tigers, the Wolfpack. It'll be Wolfpack ball. Williamson will have it on their own baseline. As Towns will inbound it. As he gets it into Hatcher. Hatcher dribbling the backcourt. The Tigers playing man-to-man right now. It's in the backcourt. As they bring it to the front court, the Tigers staying man-to-man. Now they drop into a zone. As the pass comes over to Fletcher. Firing good. Bobby Fletcher from the left side. 12 feet. Hits it. Fletcher puts Williamson up 6-2. And Williamson will play a little man-to-man defense as he gives it to St. Clair into the front court with it to DeWitt. He's on the wing left side. Back to St. Clair, top of the key with it. Jeff gives it back to DeWitt, looking underneath. And boy, they're really pushing on Miller. Gives it back to St. Clair. Now they got Miller. They double team him. He goes around, goes under, lays it up and in. Good. Jim Miller, 6-4. The Tigers trail by 2 with 5 minutes to play in the first quarter. Into the front court with it for Williamson is Mark Klein. He gets it back outside to Julius Hatcher. Hatcher on the dribble with it, top of the key, looking toward the left side. He gets it to Towns. As they're going to leave it at the Klein, he goes all the way under, puts it up to Witt, had a hand on it, and Miller pulls it out of the air. As St. Clair gets it out to the Witt, goes to the baseline, drives, fires, so good, in and out, rebound, pulled down by Williamson. As they get it out to Towns, Towns on the run with it into the front court, and Mike Keith knocks it away from him and out of bounds. It'll be Williamson ball. Williamson will have it on the baseline under their own bucket. As Towns will inbound it. As Towns flips it in to Klein. Klein gives it outside to Hatcher. Gives it back to Towns. Now Hatcher behind the back pass to Ford to Fletcher. Firing good. Bobby Fletcher from 10 feet left side. 8-4. The Tigers are down by 4. As DeWitt into the front court with it for the Tigers. Gives it to Jeff St. Clair. Jeff starts it toward the left side. Drops it to Eads in the corner. Fakes the shot. Goes under. We got a whistle and a foul as Eads really put Fletcher in the air that time. And he came back down. He fouled him. That's number 1 on Fletcher. Team foul number 1 on Williamson. 4:08 to play in the first quarter. It is 8-4. Is it on Klein? Foul was on Mark Klein. Klein wasn't. Well, okay. As DeWitt inbounded to Miller. Firing off the baseline. No good. He is fouled. And let's see who that was on. That was on 32. That would be on Swart. A technical foul right there on the Williamson bench. That's team foul number 2 on Williamson. That'll be a 2-shot technical. I don't know what that Williamson coach said, but he got hot. He got that official hot quick, didn't he?
He sure did. I didn't see it. We were behind him. There's no way we could see what was said.
Couldn't even hear him. We missed a good one, though. All right, Miller will be on the free throw line. He'll shoot. He's shooting a personal first 2-shot personal foul. Miller fires. That's good. 8-5. Tigers trail. Miller will have a second of a personal. He fires. It's good. And now we'll shoot the 2-shot technical. Now the Williamson coach gets up to Jay Fresh. Come over here. I want to talk to you about that. So Williamson wants a timeout. So with timeout on the floor. Let's take time in for this message. They got to control it. That's right. So now we'll have the technical foul shot. And I understand now the Williamson coach is off both feet at the ball and shouted something.
You know, so far Williamson's been content to get the ball to Fletcher about 15 feet out, and he just pops it from there, and he's deadly from that angle.
Well, he shot one off the glass and put the other straight in the net. He goes either way.
You
now we're ready to come out for the technical, and DeWitt's going out to shoot the technical. No, now DeWitt's coming back. Jim's going to shoot the technical. Jim Miller. It'll be a two-shot technical. As Jim's going out to shoot the technical. 4:06 up to play in the first quarter. Right now, Williamson 8, Princeton 6. And Princeton right now working on a two-shot technical. Miller fires the first one to score. So he'll have a second one.
Will be Princeton's ball out of bounds.
Princeton's ball out. Princeton will now have the ball out of bounds.
Could be a 6-point play.
There it is. Miller made the next one. The Saints 8 now. The Tigers have the ball out of bounds. So DeWitt will inbound it at half court. As DeWitt inbounds it to St. Clair. Jeff in the backcourt with it, moves it to the front court. Gives it to Eads on the left side. They go to Stephon in the corner, looking underneath. Drops it to DeWitt on the high post, goes under, puts it on the glass. Got it! Here's DeWitt, puts the Tigers up 10-8 with 3:50 to play in the first quarter. As Hatcher brings it to the front court for Williamson. Across the top of the key to the right side with a decline. He'll give it back outside to Hatcher. Looking underneath, gives it back to Klein. Now they go inside with it to Swartz. Firing good. Kenny Swartz. He put his head down, bumped Miller, and backed off and hit it. Kenny Swartz ties it up for Williamson. 10-10. As DeWitt brings it to the front court to Eads. Eads on the right side. Firing from 18. It's on the glass and into the rafters. Out of bounds. It'll be Williamson ball. That ball came off the superstructure and dropped down into the basket. The crowd wanted it to count. I'd like for it to count, too. I haven't seen that in a long time. So Williamson to the offense now. Towns brings it to the front court. Leaves it for Hatcher. Hatcher into the lane with it, trying to get it underneath. Knocked loose. And St. Clair wins the scrap for it. He's roadblocked. Roadblocked by Williamson. We got a foul on Williamson. As the Williamson player is sitting down there protesting the call, but the foul called on Bobby Fletcher. That's number 1 on Fletcher. Team foul number 3 on the Wolfpack.
At this point in time, you have all three of Williamson's big men with at least one personal foul.
Jeff St. Clair with it into the front court. The East, top the key to Stephon. They got Miller high post, comes toward the lane, goes into the lane, fires off the iron, no good. Rebound, fought for. We got Stephon on a foul. That's number 1 on Stephon. Team foul number 3 on the Tigers. And how in the world that cord gets tied up like that? As Williamson will inbound it, we got a tie ball game, 10-10 with 3:02 to play in the first quarter. As Julius Hatcher takes the inbound pass, works it toward the front court, gets it to the front court, and gives it to Towns. They bring it to Swartz. Swartz drops it underneath to Fletcher, firing good. Checking in with Swartz firing as Fletcher firing, feeding to Swartz. Swartz with the bucket. 12-10. Tigers trail by 2. As Eads with the ball in the back court, gets it to Miller in the front court. Jim holds it up, gives it back to Mike Eads. Eads gives it to St. Clair, and they go to DeWitt in the corner with it, loses it out of bounds. As the Tigers turn it over, 2:34 to play in the first quarter, 12-10. The Tigers trail. As Towns with it, as Hatcher in the front court drives, Miller blocks the shot. We got a foul on DeWitt. It is on DeWitt. And on DeWitt, that is number 2. Team foul number 4 on the Tigers. And it'll be a shooting foul, looks like, as they will put Julius Hatcher on the free throw line. As Hatcher will shoot a 1-on-1 for the Williamson Wolfpack. 12-10, the Tigers trail as Hatcher fires it good. He'll have a second attempt. As Hatcher fires, it's good. And we got a buzzer as we get David Phillips into the ball game for the Tigers. And James DeWitt will get a chance to sit down with the 2 personal fouls. As Williamson will press. Now they back it off as St. Clair brings it to the front court. Still on the move with it. Starts it down the right side to the baseline. Gives it outside to Eads. Eads starts it across the lane, left side. Drops it to Phillips in the corner. Drives the baseline. Gives it outside to Eads. Drives into the lane. Fires out of the lane. Off the glass. Got it. Eads. 14-12. The Tigers trailing by 2 now. As into the front court with it is Mark Klein. They go underneath with it to Swartz. He's got the bucket. Kenny Swartz puts it up and in. And we got a technical call on David Phillips interfering with the basket. Slapping a backboard, okay. I can't hear you. What?
Sports got the basket and the technical is on Phillips, right?
That's right. Now that's a technical, not a personal. Just count the technical. 16-12, the Tigers trailing by 4 now. And going to the line will be Mark Klein of Williamson to shoot a one-shot technical. As Klein fires, that is good. And Williamson will get the ball out of bounds. 17-12 as Williamson opens up a 5-point advantage on the Tigers. As Williamson will inbound it down in front of us now. As Towns gets it inbound to Fletcher, gives it back to Towns. They go to Towns. Towns with the ball on the far side, looking for Hatcher. He gets Klein deep on the corner, gives it back outside. It's knocked loose, picked up by Towns. As Towns goes to the lane, fires, no good. We got a charging foul on Towns. And on Towns, that's number 1. Team foul number 4 on Williamson. So it'll be Tiger ball out of bounds. As they're going to mop some of the perspiration or the moisture off of the floor. As Williamson setting up to press, they've got a 1-2-1-1 zone press laid out right now. Now, if they stay with it, we'll see. As David Phillips standing out of bounds out of the Williamson basket, they inbound it for the Tigers. As Phillips inbounds it to Jeff St. Clair. And Williamson drops it back as Eads gets the ball to the front court for the Tigers. Holds it up, gives it back to St. Clair, top of the key, looking underneath. Still on the dribble. Looks at the bucket, gives it to Eads. Eads goes into the top of the key, gives it to St. Clair. St. Clair firing from 22. It's off the back iron, no good. Rebound pulled down by Towns of Williamson. Gives it out to Hatcher. Hatcher into the front court and firing from the free throw lane, no good. Rebound picked up by Fletcher. Goes down to the baseline, loses the ball out of bounds. It'll be Tiger ball. As Bobby Fletcher lost it out of bounds. Phillips inbounds it to St. Clair. St. Clair working against the press, gets it back to Phillips, almost taken away, and there's a double dribble. As the Williamson press made the Tigers turn it over. And it'll be Williamson ball in the front court, 17-12. Williamson leading by 5 with 1:20 to play in the first quarter. Inbound pass to Klein. They give it back outside to Hatcher. He goes left to right across the top of the key. Gives it back to the near side to Towns. To Klein. Klein, top of the key with it. Drives underneath, lays it up good. Klein, Mark Klein gets it for Williamson. 19-12. The Tigers fall behind by 7. Full court pressure now by Williamson. St. Clair with the ball in the backcourt. We got a whistle and a foul and a blocking foul called against Williamson. That'll be number 5. And it's called on Bobby Fletcher, I believe. It is. That's number 2 on Fletcher. Team foul number 5 on the Wolfpack. And that will put St. Clair on the free throw line. 58 seconds left to play in the first quarter. It is Princeton 12, Williamson 19. And Jeff St. Clair standing on the free throw line for the Princeton Tigers will shoot a 1-on-1. He fires. It's good. He got back iron and drove it through. 19-13. The Tigers trail by 6. As St. Clair ready again. Dribbling on the line. Fires. It's off the back iron, no good. Rebound pulled down by Williamson as they feed it outside to Towns. And Towns works his way to the front court. Still dribbling with it. Works it on to St. Clair. Now takes it outside, gives it to Klein. Mark Klein standing outside as Williamson playing for the last shot of the quarter. 19-13, Tigers trailing. As Williamson away out front with it, Mark Klein standing out there. They bring it down to Bobby Fletcher. They go back over cross court with it to Towns, back to Klein. As Klein standing over the ball on his hip right now. And they feed it across court to Curtis Towns. Towns dribbling, coming across with it. 22 seconds on the clock as Williamson playing for the last shot. Now coming out to get the ball is Fletcher. Fletcher gives it back to Towns. Towns looks at the clock, dribbles a couple times, and gives it to Fletcher. Fletcher outside with it with 9 seconds on the clock. They start it down the right side as they go to Klein deep in the corner. Comes toward the lane, fires, and it's good. Mark Klein put it high on the glass and dropped it. So at the end of the first quarter of play, the Princeton Tigers trailing 21-13, and we'll be back right after this. All right, Bob, first quarter didn't look so good for the Tigers.
Well, Princeton hit 4 field goals to Williamson's 9. Princeton 5 of 6 foul line. Williamson 3 of 4. the big man, Miller, with 8 points. Charlie?
For Princeton, in the first quarter, they made 4 of 13 for 30%. Williamson made 9 of 14 for 64%. Williamson pulled down 10 rebounds compared to Princeton's 4, and Williamson made 5 turnovers compared to Princeton's 3. That rebounding and that shooting percentage.
What was the rebound?
10 to 4 favor Williamson.
10 to 4. Okay, now we're ready for the second quarter. The Tigers come out. We've got Miller, Strain, Eads, St. Clair, and DeWitt. Williamson comes back with their starting 5 of Towns, Hatcher, Schwartz, Fletcher, and Klein. As Miller in the jump, and he'll be jumping against Fletcher. Fletcher's in. Miller moves in now. Waiting on the official. And the official moves in. A tip controlled by the Tigers as Miller tips it to DeWitt. Ball knocked loose, picked up by Eads. Eads gives it to St. Clair. Jeff at the top of the key with it. Back to Eads. Eads goes toward the lane. Goes into the lane. Drops it over to DeWitt. Throws it out of bounds. Lost control. Threw it out. 21-13. Tigers starting by 8. So we're early in the second quarter. As Williamson will bring it to the front court. Hatcher with the ball. Still dribbling, kicked away from him by St. Clair. He rolled all the way back into DeWitt, picked it up. As St. Clair gives it back to the front court to Miller. Miller fakes, goes around, fires off the glass. Tipped up by Miller, got it. It's good, he is fouled. As Miller following the shot, tipped twice. Got it to drop for the second one. He was fouled. And the foul was called on Kenny Schwartz. That's number 2 on Schwartz. Team foul number 6. So Miller will get a free throw. 21-15. Tigers down 6. Jim on the line for 1. Two tips. As Miller fires the free throw, it's on the iron. Good. 21-16. As the Tigers now are going to press a little bit. As Hatcher out of bounds with the ball, gets it into Towns. Towns on the dribble with it. Turned the ball over, no call on it. Into the front court. Into the baseline. Drops it underneath to Hatcher. No good rebound. Comes off to DeWitt. As DeWitt brings it to the front court. Gives it to St. Clair. St. Clair. Towns at the top of the key. Gives it to Eads. Eads playing out front. Goes into the lane with it. Firing off the top of the key. Off the iron. No good. Rebound. Fought for. Brought down by Schwartz to Williamson. He gets it out to Towns. To Hatcher. Hatcher has a knock loose by Eads. Eads comes up with the ball. Eads into the front court with it for the Tigers. Circles away. Lets traffic go by. Comes to the top of the key. Gives it to St. Clair. Jeff moves it to the top of the key. Now to Eads. Eads holding it overhead. They got Stephon on the baseline. Firing. Good. Stephon Strain. 21-18. Tigers trail by 3. It's into the front court with it to Mark Klein for Williamson. Klein dribbling out front as St. Clair harassing him. He gives it over to Curtis Towns. Towns goes to Hatcher. Hatcher right back to Towns, top of the key. They bring it from their side to Fletcher, now to Schwartz. Schwartz goes to the baseline, firing off the iron. No good. Rebound underneath by Fletcher. Put up. He traveled. That's Tiger ball out of bounds.
If they, Chris has a chance to bring it within 1 point if they can score on this control.
As St. Clair picked up his dribble under pressure, gives it to Eads. Eads gives it back to Jeff, and Jeff will take it to the front court down the left side. They get it to Stephon, deep in the corner, gives it back to Eads, top of the key. Eads working it in the key, backs it out of trouble now. Still on the dribble, looking underneath all the time. Gives it to St. Clair. Jeff will fire from 21. He's got it. Jeff St. Clair cuts the deficit to 1. 21-20. The Tigers down by 1. As Curtis Towns working with the ball for Williamson into the front court. He gives it to Klein on the high post. To Hatcher on the far side, back to Klein, firing from the way outside. He's got it. Bart Klein from 22 feet hits it. 23-20. As the Tigers come back to the front court, we got a foul called on Julius Hatcher. That's number 1 on Hatcher. He fouled Jim Miller. Jim will go to the line, and he will shoot a 1-and-1.
From where I was sitting, there was no question about that foul. Jim had the...
I brought people around the same place. He said they questioned it.
Yeah, but...
Their place.
I'm sitting on their side.
Jim Miller on the free throw line for the Tigers. Ready to fire. He'll get a 1-and-1. First one's on the way. It's in and out. No good. Rebound pulled down by Fletcher or Williamson. Williamson leading by 3 as Towns into the front court with it for the Wolfpack. Starts it toward the left side. They bring it back to the near side. The Schwartz firing. Put up the air ball. As Stephon brings it out for the Tigers. Gives it to DeWitt. And James will bring it to the front court for the Tigers. Down the right side with it. Works it toward the baseline. Drops it to Miller, low post. Miller double team goes into the lane. We got a whistle and a foul as Miller's on the deck. That's number 3 on somebody. 32, is that who it's on? Is that on Schwartz? It is on Kenny Schwartz. And on Schwartz, that is number 3. He's their 6'7" man. And they had Miller in a tri-cornered vice down there, if there is such a thing. 5:28 left to play in the first half. It is 23-20. Williamson leading, but Miller's on the line with the front part of a 1-on-1 for the Tigers. As Miller fires the first one, it's off the front iron. No good. Rebound pulled down by Fletcher of Williamson. Holds it for traffic to clear and gives it to Hatcher. Hatcher will bring it to the front court. On the right side with it, dribbling slowly. Picks it up, gives it across court to Towns. Trying to get underneath and tipped away by the Witt. Eads with the ball as the Tigers come to the front court. Eads holds it up. Waiting for traffic to clear. Starts it toward the baseline. Drops it to Stephon. He's on the baseline. They double teaming. Gives it to St. Clair. Firing with free throw line. Good. Jeff gets the Tigers within 1. And Williamson wants a timeout. So with 5 minutes left to play in the first half, it is Williamson 23, Princeton 22. We'll be back right after this. What? Hey, that's an inadvertent kick, wasn't it?
Inadvertent wild foul.
Besides that, Williamson had 2 chances there for Princeton to fix it up. What are they complaining about?
I can't complain about the officiating thus far tonight. I think it's been about as good as you can expect. They have the control of the ball game with the technical. Although they missed a little show before the game, but since that point they have
were
control.
saving their energy.
So far in this quarter, Princeton has hit 4 of 7, and Williamson hits 1 of 4. So they have turned this quarter. They have turned it around so far in this quarter.
A little better defense, maybe.
Right.
All right, we're ready to play ball now. It's Williamson ball out of bounds in the backcourt. Tigers trailing by 1, 23-22. Now we got a new man in for Williamson. We got Scott Maynard in. As Towns, or Hatcher it is, brings it to the front court for Williamson. He gives it to Klein way out top of the key. Gives it back to Hatcher. They come across court to Towns in the lane. Firing. It is off the flange. No good. Rebound fought for. We got a whistle, a foul call on the Tigers, I believe. It'll be on Stephon. That's number 2 on Stephon. And team foul number 5, number 6 on the Tigers. Number 5. And that will put Bobby Fletcher on the free throw line for the Wolfpack. 23-22, the Tigers trailing by 1. As Fletcher will be on the free throw line for the Wolfpack. He'll have a 1-on-1. As Fletcher ready, he fires. It is good. He'll have a second one. 24-22, the Tigers trailing by 2 now. We got 4:45 left to play in the first half. As Fletcher ready for the second one. He fires. It is good. 25-22. Tigers down by 3 as St. Clair brings it to the front court, motioning for help. Gets it from Miller on the high post as Jim looks, fakes, gives it to Eads. Eads drives to the baseline. Backs it out of there now. Looking underneath, gives it to St. Clair. To Stephon. To DeWitt in the corner. Firing out of the corner. It's off the iron. No good. Rebound fought for. Brought down by Williamson as Klein controls. Klein on the dribble into the front court. Goes down the lane. Drops it off. We got a whistle and a foul on one of the Tigers on St. Clair, I believe it is. It is on Jeff St. Clair. That's number 2 on Jeff. And that will put Mark Klein on the free throw line for the Wolfpack.
Well, man, 6'7.5". That was a pretty impressive show bringing that ball down court.
Well, you know, ground's level out here. It ain't too hard. Klein fires the free throw. That's good. He'll have a new one. No, Klein is he comes outside, shoots that 23-foot, 25-foot jump shot and hits it well. Williamson's got what it takes to have a championship, that's for sure. As Klein fires again, it's good. 27-22. The Tigers trail by 5 now. St. Clair with the ball. Gets it to Eads in the backcourt. Working with a double teaming. Gets it in the front court to DeWitt. DeWitt on the left side. Takes it toward the corner. Into the corner with it. To Eads. Eads works toward the free throw line. Firing. It's in and out. No good. Rebound. Pulled down by Klein of Williamson. As Klein brings it up floor again. Gives it to the right side to Hatcher. And Hatcher called for the travel. We got a wet spot on the floor. They're asking the official to mop up a little bit. And the official comes over and scuffs his feet to it. I guess that's all right. It'll be Princeton ball out of bounds in the backcourt. 27-22. The Tigers trailing by 5 here now with 4:01 left to play in the first half. And Williamson, a very, very explosive ball club. As Eads inbounds it to St. Clair, almost lost it out of bounds. As St. Clair with the ball gets it back to Eads. As Phillips trying to check in. And everybody's up in front of us. I guess I'll stand up too.
Big pressure for a substitute for Princeton.
So now they do not let Phillips in. As the inbounds for Williamson, we got over and back. That's right. As Klein took off the front court, came down the back court. That's over and back. And now Phillips will come into the ball game, and the Tigers will have the ball out at midcourt.
Stefan is going to sit down and take a break.
As Eads inbounds it to St. Clair. Jeff on the move with it, directing traffic. Takes it toward the left side. To Eads. He's on the wing left side. Puts it on the floor. Gives it to DeWitt deep in the corner. Back to St. Clair on the key. Drops it to Phillips in the corner right side. Phillips comes outside quarter court. Gives it to St. Clair. They go to Eads. He's at the quarter court left side. Now to DeWitt. Drives the baseline. Fires off the baseline. Good. James DeWitt gets the Tigers within 3. As the inbound pass comes into Fletcher, he waits until Hatcher gets to him, gives it to Hatcher, and Hatcher will bring it to the front court for Williamson. To Towns, bring to the cross court to Fletcher, firing from 18 feet, it's good. Oh boy, can't let him shoot anymore. Fletcher puts it in for Williamson, 29-24. The Tigers trail by 5 as Eads comes back into the baseline. The ball kicked loose and out of bounds by Williamson. It'll be Tiger ball on the baseline. Punch DeWitt and Klein go. Phillips and Miller slam dunk. As DeWitt made it up for the basket. Miller came over and destroyed it. 29-26. The Tigers within 3. As Williamson into the front court with it. There's a traveling we didn't get. As Klein with the ball top the key for Williamson now. Gets to the cross court to Towns. They come back to Schwartz firing. It's no good. Rebound to St. Clair. St. Clair into the front court, throws it away as DeWitt cannot run it down. As Towns with the ball in the back court, gets it in the front court to Klein. As Klein dribbling with it out front, 6'7.5" point guard. As he picks the ball, gives it back on the far side to Hatcher. Hatcher trying to get it to the high post. It's taken loose by Miller, picked up by Klein. Front loose goes underneath, and we got a block underneath the foul. As much of the ball fouled by DeWitt, and it's 3 on James DeWitt. He didn't get him enough. I saw daylight all the way.
I believe James probably got it with the body someplace there, but it was a pretty block.
I won't disagree with you, but the Williamson player come up and no, he didn't.
It was one of those when you start to let the ball go, when you start to shoot the layup, look up and the ball's facing you right, coming out your harder, you just never release that one.
As Stefan comes in, James DeWitt comes out. Stefan coming in, DeWitt with those 3 fouls. On the free throw line for Williams will be Bobby Fletcher.
Bobby Fletcher can shoot.
As Fletcher fires the first of 2, it is no good.
He can shoot even better than I thought.
He's missed 2 shots in a row. He missed his last one from the field. They got brought off the plan.
He got 10 points so far.
He got that one off the front of the iron. He'll have another attempt. He fires. It's good. 30-26. The Tigers trailing by 4. As Jeff St. Clair with the ball against the press from Williamson. Gets it to Jim Miller in the front court. He's on the wing right side. Gives it back to St. Clair on the point position. They go to East. Quarter court left side. To Phillips on the baseline. Firing out of the corner. Gets by the glass. Picked off by Miller. Miller hooking. Here. He got it. He hung it on the iron and dropped it. 30-28. Tigers within 2. As Hatcher into the front court with it for Williamson. Gives it to Towns. Towns on the dribble. Goes to the quarter court. Down the right side to Klein. Gives it back to Towns. Firing. Good. Towns from downtown. Put it in. 32-28. The Tigers trail by 4. Miller with the ball way out front for the Tigers. Dribbles it 3 times, 4 times now. 5 and picks it up. Gives it to Jeff St. Clair. As Jeff puts it on the floor, starts it right to left. They go to Eads on the quarter court out on the wing. Gives it back to St. Clair. Looking underneath, picks it up to Eads. Eads working on man double team. Ball knocked loose, picked up by Phillips of the Tigers. Drops it to Miller in the lane. He's double teamed, knocked loose. Ball comes up to Williamson. As they get it out to Towns. Towns runs over top Eads. The ball is loose on the floor. Miller diving for it, picked up by Williamson. As they get it over to Maynard. Maynard in the front court with it to Hatcher. And Hatcher put it up in the air, but he trapped. Oh, he called a foul. He was fouled. Bucket is good. Bucket is good. Foul called on Mike Eads. And a foul call on Mike Eads. Now Mike had his foul number 1. And that will put Julius Hatcher on the free throw line for Williamson. He fires. It is off the iron, no good. Rebound, fought forward to the floor, kicked out of bounds off of the Tigers. They give it to Williamson. As Williamson will inbound it right in front of us as they bring it in to Hatcher. Hatcher on the dribble with it. Brings it toward the top of the key, gives it to Klein. Klein standing out top of the key to the right side to Towns. Towns brings it around horn to Fletcher, firing off the baseline, no good. Rebound fought forward, knocked loose, picked up by St. Clair. St. Clair into the front court with it to Eads. Drives, lays it up, no good. Rebound pulled out by Klein of Williamson. Klein backs his way toward the front court, into the front court, still on the dribble, on the right side to Towns, firing a left-hand jump shot, no good. Rebound to Stefan of the Tigers. Beats it out to Eads. Eads into the front court with it, still dribbling. Waiting on traffic to clear now. Picks it up, gives it to St. Clair. Jeff on the dribble to Eads. And we got a whistle and a foul. And that is called on Scott Maynard. Maynard Williamson called on the blocking foul.
These players out there, Glenn, are tired. Especially it looks to me like the Princeton players are really tired.
It's been a terrific pace, and it's hot in here. 34-28, the Tigers are trailing by 6. We got 30 seconds left to play in the first half. As Mike Eads on the free throw line for the Tigers to shoot a 1-and-1. He fires the first one, no good. Miller rebound, goes under, puts it on the glass, it rolls over and in. Jim Miller, 34-30. The Tigers trail by 4 with 20 seconds to play in the first half. As Hatcher to the front court with it for Williamson. Runs over St. Clair. Gets it over to Towns. Hatcher with the ball again. Starts it down the right side. Brings it back to Towns. Goes to the lane. Drops underneath. Trying to get it to Maynard. Throws it out of bounds. It'll be Tiger ball with 7 seconds. Tiger ball with 7 seconds. As the Williamson team will set up a press as St. Clair brings the ball toward the front court. Trying to get it over to Stefan. It's knocked out of bounds.
Hard worked out.
So the Tigers have the ball on their own baseline now with 4 seconds to play.
And that's plenty of time to get off a good shot.
As Phillips will inbound it. He kicks it outside to Eads. Eads dribbles 3 times, comes to the lane, fires. It is off the iron, no good. So at the end of the first half of play, the Williamson Wolfpack with 34 points. The Princeton Tigers with 30 points. We'll be back with more right after this. Halftime score, the Williamson Wolfpack 34, the Princeton Tigers 30. As in the first quarter, Princeton had 13 points, Williamson had 21. In the second quarter, Princeton had 17 points, Williamson had 13. Halftime score, 34-30, the Tigers trailing. And we'll be back with halftime activities. First, let's pause for this. Okay, what do we got on some stats, Charlie?
Okay, for Princeton in the first half, shows that they made 12 of 29 for 41%. Williamson made 13 of 25 for 52%. Williamson pulled down 18 rebounds compared to Princeton's 14. Williamson committed 11 turnovers compared to 4 turnovers for Williamson. I think in the first quarter there, Princeton had the poor shooting of 30%. Probably hurt them pretty bad there, Glenn. And they're getting out rebounded too.
Very badly. Bob, what you got?
For the Williamson Wolfpack first, they had 13 field goals, 8 of 10 at the foul line, 34 points. Kenny Schwartz had 3 personal fouls called on him and set out part of the second quarter. 3 field goals, 6 points. Bobby Fletcher, 2 fouls, 4 field goals, 3 of 4 at the foul line, 11 points. Curtis Towns, 1 field goal, 2 points, and that 1 field goal was from way outside. Julius Hatcher, 2 field goals, 2 of 3 at the foul line, 6 points. Mark Klein, who I was really impressed with. I don't think I've seen a better big man as a sophomore around. 3 field goals, 3 of 3 from the foul line, 9 points. For Princeton, Mike Eads well off his scoring average for the season, which is about 17 points. 1 field goal, 0 for 1 at the foul line, 2 points. Jeff St. Clair, 2 field goals, 1 of 2 from the foul line, 5 points. Jeff came out early in the ball game and tried to break up the 3-2 zone that Williamson was playing. James DeWitt, 2 field goals for 4 points and 3 personal fouls. Stephon Strain, 2 field goals. 1 field goal for 2 points. Jimmy Miller, 6 field goals, 5 of 7 at the foul line, 17 points, and no personal fouls in the first half. That pretty much wraps it up, except that Princeton had 12 field goals to Williamson's 13. Princeton 6 of 10 at the foul line compared to 8 of 10 for Princeton. Glenn?
And who's the other guy got 9? All right, we'll be back with halftime guests right after this.
Hey, Jim, I'm Craig Mann. Alongside, I've got the head coach of the Bluefield Beavers, Elhanier Willis. And first of all, Coach Willis, we'd like to welcome you aboard.
Thank you. I'm glad to come over and try to look at a decent game without having to worry about what's going on.
I'm sure that is something, an emotion that the everyday basketball fan just doesn't go through, because, you know, a basketball fan goes to a ball game, and if the team he's rooting for wins, that's fine. If he loses, that's still fine, because they still get to go home, and it's no skin off their face, you know.
That's right. I say very seldom you go out, you go scouting, but every now and then you get a chance to go to a ball game, you just relax, and really I bet you can pick up more watching 2 teams you don't really worrying about scouting than you do when you go scouting sometimes, because you miss too much scouting trying to get yourself involved and trying to see what a team is doing.
By the way, the Princeton Tigers are a little bit leery of you guys right now going into tournament time. You guys are starting to shell over the other side of the county.
Well, I have a good bunch of fellas. I'm real proud of them. At the first of the year, we wouldn't have given a thought that they could play. We had some boys that had worked hard and had a lot of improvement. And I would say on a given night when we are right, we don't bar anybody.
I happened to get to see the parts of the last game that you guys played with Northport. And of course, Northport falling at the hands of Beckley the other evening, last night I believe it was. But, you know, I was very much impressed with your boys. They did a fine job.
Yes, we've been getting a lot of good service out of fellas that are just now realizing what the game is all about, and they have made constant improvement. I felt that we made mistakes in the latter part of the Norfolk game that just haven't had enough game experience to have taken care of the situation. But our boys are determined and they're still working, so we are still high hopes.
All righty. We're talking with Coach Elhanier Willis, and we're about 5 minutes away from the second half tip-off, and we'll be back with a little bit more of our halftime show right after this.
Thank you, Craig.
Amazing, and we're talking with the head coach of the Bluefield Beavers, Elhanier Willis. Coach Willis, it's the first time you got to see the Williamson Wolfpack, of course, the #1 rated AAA team in the state. What do you think so far?
Well, Williamson looked good. They got this young freshman, Klein, look real good. They are quick. They handle the ball good. I think what's going on now, both teams haven't relaxed enough yet to play. They're playing with tension, and whichever team can seem to relax and settle down into their game will be the team.
Coach, what do you expect to see coming up here in the second half?
Well, I expect to see Williamson go a little more to their running game, and I expect to see him go to Klein more.
The Tigers, how are they going to try to counteract that?
Well, the Tigers will counteract that, hoping that we can get a hot hand from some of the outside shooters, because I look for them. They're double teaming Jimmy, and somebody's going to have to pull a little pressure off of Jimmy.
All righty, Coach, we wish you best of luck throughout the remainder of your season and on into the tournament, and we look to see you over at where's the sectional this year?
Breakfast Armory.
We look to see you at the Breakfast Armory.
Okay, thank you, Craig.
All righty. We'll be back with the second
off when we return right after this.
All right, what do you think is going to happen in the second half, Bob?
I don't know. This Williamson team impressed me the first half. They're big, they're strong, they're quick, they run well. Princeton's got to come out and set the tempo and do the job they've got to do. Jimmy has got to get some scoring help.
What do you think, Charlie?
I think so. Princeton needs to control the offensive board. Not getting no offensive rebounds. I think that's hurting. They're getting that one shot, and that's it.
What do you think, Craig?
Well, I think the Tigers, of course, they know that the Williamson team is trying to collapse that middle up, and they're not wanting to let Jimmy work that middle. So I think their only hope really is to hope that they can get an outside shooter hot. DeWitt, maybe Eves, possibly St. Clair. He hit a couple there from the top of the key. They got to hope that one or two or possibly all three of these fellas get hot from outside to try to pull them out and open up the middle so they can take it inside.
All right. You know what I think, man?
What do you think's going to happen?
More of the same, except Princeton's going to do the more.
Well, we hope so.
All right, we'll be back in the second half. First, let's pause for this. It's the Tigers and the Wolfpack back on the floor. Waiting on everybody else to show up. The officials are back. As we're trying to get all the coats situated over here in one place right now. Nobody's wearing a coat in here tonight. You notice that? I can't understand that. It's still February, and everybody should be wearing a coat. Tigers break their huddle. They come back. Miller. They got East. They got DeWitt. They got They got Strain. Back as they come with. They got Klein. They got Fletcher. They got Towns and Hatcher. And there's Schwartz. We're ready to go, as it will be. Fletcher in to jump against Miller. Fletcher's in. Miller's in. The official puts the ball up. Neither team tipped it. Now they don't jump it again. That was a lousy toss-up.
I've just been informed that West Virginia has a 14-point lead with 6 minutes to go in their Eastern 8 game.
Who told you that?
Tammy Bar.
Oh. Set the clock, they let it run off.
Whatever else happens, let's don't mess with that clock. I've seen that once this year. And
Wait a minute.
probably down to 7 minutes and then reset it.
Back to 8 as they let some time run off the clock on the illegal jump. And at least he can't say he was slow starting the clock, can he?
May have been a little derelict stopping it.
He sure got it started right. As the teams are standing here waiting on the clock to come down to 7 minutes, and they'll pop it to 8, and they'll start all over again at 8 minutes for the third quarter. Williamson 34, Princeton 30, starting the second half. As they bring the clock down to 7. And now, hope you don't overrun it. There it is, 8 minutes. We're ready to go now. It'll be Miller in the jump against Bobby Fletcher of Williamson. Jim Miller standing outside that circle, moves one big left foot in. As Fletcher comes in the opposite side. The tip controlled by the Tigers as DeWitt pulls it down. Circles out, danger, drops it to Miller on the low baseline, turning, firing, off the iron, no good. Rebound pulled down by Klein of Williamson. Klein on the dribble into the front court with it to Hatcher. Hatcher goes to the baseline, fires, good. As East hit the deck and wanted the charging call, didn't get it. 36-30, the Tigers trail by 6. The St. Clair with the ball for the Tigers against the press of Williamson. Gets it to Miller in the front court. As Miller dribbling with it toward the baseline. Gives it back outside toward Jeff St. Clair, and Jeff directs traffic. And he gives it to Eads on the wing, quarter court, right side. To DeWitt in the corner, firing out of the corner, in and out, no good. Rebound tipped around, pulled down by Williamson, stolen by St. Clair to Miller. Slam dunk. Technical foul on Jim Miller. Grabbing the rim. As Jim slam dunked it, and he grabbed the rim on the way down. And they call the technical. So Williamson gets one shot in the ball. They hit the ball anyway, so only gets one shot. Big deal. So going to the free throw line for Williamson will be Mark Klein. He'll shoot one shot. He fires. It's good. 37-32. The Tigers trail by 5 now with 7:20 left to play in the third quarter. As Towns will inbound it for Williamson. As As the official waiting down in front of us to start the clock is the Towns. Tosses into Hatcher. Hatcher works it toward the front court, gives it to Towns. He's on the near side. They go to Klein, high post. Klein looking, gives it back to Towns on the near side. They go to Schwartz in the lane, puts it up and in. It is Kenny Schwartz. It's a 39-32. The Tigers down by 7 as Miller into the front court with the ball for the Tigers. Holds it up, gives it outside to Jeff St. Clair. Jeff on the dribble with it, directing traffic to Eads. Eads goes toward the lane. Drops it to Stephon on the baseline, gives it back outside. They go to Miller in the lane. Fake, goes around his man, lays it up. Comes out, no good. Rebound, pulled down by Schwartz of Williamson. He gets it out to Towns. Towns into the front court with it to Hatcher, firing good. And Hatcher hits it for the running Wolfpack. 41-32 as Eads works his way back toward the front court for the Tigers. He gets it to Stephon straight in the front court. Stephon gives it back to Eads. They go to St. Clair with it. He'll set the offense. To Eads on the quarter court right side wing. Gives it to DeWitt deep in the corner. Gives it back outside. Williamson playing a 2-3 zone. As Eads goes underneath, we got a whistle and a foul on Curtis Towns. That's number 2 on Towns. Team foul number 1 on Williamson in the second half. And it'll be out of bounds to the Tigers on the far side. They'll play it at the quarter court. James DeWitt will inbound it. Brings it in to St. Clair. He gives it to Eads. Mike dribbles it toward the basket. Gives it to DeWitt in the corner. Drops it to Miller. Miller double team. Can't get it loose. Feeds it off to St. Clair. Gives it to Stephon. Stephon puts it up and in. Pretty feed from St. Clair. 41-34. 7-point advantage for Williamson. As Klein with the ball. Top of the key. To the right side. To Hart. Gives it back to Klein. Goes toward the lane. They double team him. Now he gets it into the corner to Fletcher firing. It's good. Fletcher out of the corner. Hits it. Bobby Fletcher. 43-34. The Tigers are trailing as Miller takes the up-court pass into the front court. Leaves it for Mike Eads. As Eads to DeWitt. Drives the baseline. Gives it across to Stephon. Goes across the lane. Jumps. Fires. Off the iron. No good. Rebound pulled down by Fletcher up Williamson. That's Fletcher. He gets it out to Towns, and Curtis Towns into the front court with it. Goes underneath with it to Schwartz. Drives, fires, good, and there's a charge. There's a charge. Now, he charged before he let go of the ball. Let's see if they count the bucket. That's number 4 on Schwartz. They called it all good. It shouldn't be, but they called it good. The official probably couldn't see from his position. He still had the ball in hand when he made contact, and the Tigers want a timeout because Ralph Ball wants to question that call. With 5:23 left to play in the third quarter. Tigers timeout. It is Williamson 45, Princeton 34. We'll be back right after this.
Together we can.
The Wolfpack goes 11 up on the Tigers here early in the third quarter. Bob, something's got to be done.
Well, I'm not sure he can do much with it. They're shooting 5 for 5. They've had easy shots, a couple of layups. Princeton's 2 has had 2 baskets to Williamson's 5 to start this third quarter.
It's time for us to start playing like Sullivan North. Doing the body checks and the trip.
Well,
As DeWitt will inbound it for the Tigers now. We're waiting on Williamson to break the huddle. 5:23 left to play in the third quarter. 45-34. Williamson hit 5 out of 5 as they came back from the second half. Boy, they really put it together in the locker room. Got hot. Of course, it's kind of warm in here anyway. As DeWitt takes the ball, gets it into St. Clair. Williamson will press, gives it back to DeWitt. Dribbling against the press in the backcourt. Gets it to Mike Eads. Eads on the near side, brings it to the front court. On the left side with a left-hand dribble. Gives it to St. Clair. He's on the point position, looking underneath with it. Back to Eads. Eads looking inside. Now he gives it back to St. Clair, top of the key. They go to DeWitt on the far side. He'll fire 20 feet. It's good. As DeWitt, maybe he starts warming up now. As the Tigers put a little bit face-up man-to-man pressure. As Hatcher brings it to the front court, gives it to Towns. Towns on the right side, gives it to Klein, top of the key. Back to Towns, looking underneath, cross court with it to Hatcher. Hatcher jumps, gives it back to Klein outside. Drops it in the post to Fletcher, firing, no good. Fletcher rebounds, puts it up and in. Fletcher for Williamson. 47-36. The Tigers trailing by 11. As St. Clair gets the ball in the front court to DeWitt. Goes to the baseline, gives to Miller, and we've got a traveling call. Almost had a foul on it. As sitting up in front of Miller was Towns, and Miller stuffed him, but they called it for the travel rather than the charging foul. So Williamson into the front court with the ball. As Klein with a way out front. Waits for traffic to clear. Dribbles a couple times. Gives it to Towns. The Towns will fire up that left hand from the far side. No good. Rebound pulled down by James DeWitt. He gets it out to Jim Miller. Jim under pressure in the backcourt. Dribbling with it toward the front court now. Starts it toward the lane. Gives it to DeWitt. Drops it to Stephon. Stephon fakes. Fires. And they got a 3-second call against the Tigers. Well, what else can go wrong? 47 to 36. Tigers trailing by 11, and they're turning it over now. As Hatcher with the ball for Williamson, brings it toward the front court, gets it to Towns. He's in the front court, comes into the lane with it, fires. Good. Curtis Towns has Williamson out by 13 now. They're threatening to get some daylight on the Tigers. As St. Clair into the front court with it for the Tigers. To DeWitt. Firing out of the corner on the iron, no good. Stephon rebounds, goes up, puts it up and in, good. He is fouled from behind by Klein. And on Klein, that will be foul number 2. And it'll get Stephon one shot. That's team foul number 2 on the Wolfpack. 49 to 38. The Tigers down by 11. Stephon will be on the line to shoot one. Now, somebody was on the floor right underneath Stephon's feet. He went up and was fouled from behind, but he almost landed on the Williamson player. If he had him, he could have severely hurt himself, sprained an ankle or what have you. So Strain on the line for the Tigers. Fires that free throw up. No good. Rebound pulled down by Fletcher of Williamson. Hands it out to Julius Hatcher, and he'll bring it to the front court for the Wolfpack. To the right side to Towns. Towns dribbling with it into the top of the key. Gives it back outside to Klein. They go to Hatcher on the far side. Comes into the lane. Drops it underneath. To Maynard. Maynard puts it up and in. Scott Maynard on the back door play. 51 to 38. The Tigers trail by 13. As Eads into the front court with it to Stephon. Strain gives it back outside to St. Clair. Top of the key with it for Jeff. Still dribbling. To Eads on the far side, wing position. To Stephon on the baseline. To St. Clair firing from the top of the key. Good. Jeff St. Clair. 51 to 40. 11-point deficit for the Tigers. As Williamson into the front court with it. Hatcher with the ball. He's directing traffic out there now. Waiting for it to move, gives it to Klein. Gives it to the near side to Towns. They go underneath with it to Maynard again. He travels. He saw Jim Miller coming after him and took an extra step before he put it up. 51 to 40. The Tigers trail by 11. They have the ball. We got 2:52 to play in the third quarter. As Jeff St. Clair brings it to the front court to James DeWitt on the left side quarter court, still on the dribble with it, looking underneath, gives it back to St. Clair, top of the key. They bring it to DeWitt again on the left side. Comes around looking for Miller, can't get him open. They go to Eads on the far side. Eads drives it toward the baseline, puts the shot up. He is fouled from behind by Hatcher, I believe it is. It is on Julius Hatcher, and that's number 2 on Hatcher. And that's team foul number 3 on the Wolfpack. That should be a shooting foul, though, for Eads. And Mike will go to the free throw line. As the Tigers are going to change their defense. Looks like they'll throw up a 1-3-1 zone next time down. As Eads fires the free throw, it's off the iron, no good. He'll get a second one. Eads cannot connect. He got the side iron. It rolled down, spun out. 51 to 40. Tigers trailing by 11. 2:35 to play in the third quarter. Eads fires, it's good. 51 to 41. 10-point deficit for the Tigers. As Hatcher beats the press into the front court. Gives it off to the far side to Fletcher. He is fouled by Miller. That's number 1 on Miller. Team foul number 1 on the Tigers. As Fletcher felt the impact of that one, don't you think? Fletcher's still down over there. They want a goaltending call, and that's what they want. On the line for the Wolfpack will fire the 2-shot foul, and now the Tigers want a timeout. With 2:29 left to play in the third quarter, it is Princeton 41, Williamson 51, and we'll be back right after this. I don't see a whole lot of weaknesses in this Williamson club. They got size, they got speed, they can shoot, they can dribble, they can foul. What else do you want?
Well, they also have a good JV team that won tonight, 67 to 55. It is a good team. It's an amazingly good team. The sophomore Klein has been very impressive, bringing the ball down, handling the ball. He has not made the turnover that you would expect from a 6'7.5" guard out there. Jeff St. Clair has not been able to take it away from him on the dribble. So they've an excellent shooting team. They've got the size. They've got the quick guards. They're tough.
So far in this quarter, Williamson has had 8 of 10. So they're shooting 80% in this quarter.
That's pretty fair country shooting.
Yeah, I believe it is. Princeton shooting 50%.
On the free throw line right now for Williamson will be Bobby Fletcher. He missed his first one, didn't he? So he's got one more to shoot. Fletcher on the line ready. He fires. It's good. 52-41. 11-point advantage for the Williamson Wolfpack. As Jeff St. Clair with the ball for the Tigers. Backs his way toward the front court under pressure from Hatcher. Comes through the center circle. Moves it to the point position. DeWitt on the wing as DeWitt comes back across top of the lane. He'll fire from the top of the key. It's on the iron and does not drop. As Weller puts it back up and in. Jim Miller tips for the Tigers. 52-43. The Tigers down by 9. As Hatcher with the ball in the backcourt for Williamson. Works his way toward the front court. Still moving with it as St. Clair puts the pressure on. Backs his way to the top of the key. They go to Maynard on the far side. At the wing, he gives it back outside to Hatcher. As Williamson looking at the clock, we've got 1:46 to play in the third quarter. They get Towns coming across the top. They move it aside to Hatcher. Hatcher trying to get underneath. Knocked loose by Stephon. Picked up by St. Clair. They get it out to Eads. Eads works on Towns. Goes down. Fires. Good. Mike Eads. 52-45. A 7-point deficit for the Tigers now. As Towns is Hatcher to the front court with it for Williamson. Gets it to Maynard in the corner. Looking underneath. Gives it to Klein. He's way outside with it. Dribbling. Coming across the top of the key. Gives it to Towns in the center circle. 1:14 to play in the third quarter. Klein comes out to get the pass. Backs his way in. Gives it to the near side to Hatcher. Hatcher on the dribble. Backs his way across the court. Gives it to Towns. As Eads picks up Towns. Towns drives it toward the baseline. Eads dogging him. To Klein. Klein starts it toward the key, gives it outside toward Hatcher. Hatcher on the near side, penetrates the quarter court, goes in. We got a tripping foul on Jeff St. Clair. That's number 3 on Jeff. Team foul number 2 on the Tigers. 52 seconds up to play in the third quarter. Williamson 52, Princeton 45. It'll be out of bounds to the Wolfpack. They'll play at front court, quarter court, right side. As Curtis Towns will inbound it. Mike Eads will guard him. He flips it inside to Julius Hatcher. Hatcher out front with it. Still on the dribble now. Gives it to Mark Klein. Klein way out front as DeWitt plays the defense on him. Gives it over to Hatcher. Hatcher dogged by St. Clair. Gives it back to Klein. As DeWitt tips it loose. Eads is there to scramble. We got a foul. And it should be on Klein. It is on Klein. And Klein throws the ball away. That's number 3 on Klein. The team foul, number 5 on Williamson. And that should put Eads on the line for a 1-on-1.
Glenn, I showed his team foul number 4. So far, they haven't put
They show team foul number 5 also. And it does on Klein number 3. Okay. Mike Eads on the line for the Tigers. As Eads will fire the 1-on-1. As Mike is ready. He fires with the right hand. It's good. 52-46. 6-point deficit for the Tigers now. As Eads ready to fire again. He's with the ball. He puts it up with the right hand. It's too strong. Comes out. No good. Rebound pulled down by Williamson. As Fletcher pulls it down. Dribbles it toward the left side. 30 seconds to play in the third quarter. As Fletcher brings it to the front court. Picks the dribble up. Gives it outside to Towns. Towns to Hatcher. Hatcher on the dribble with it over here. Scooter Guell checking in the ball game. Scooter playing the defense on Hatcher. The Klein comes across the top of the key, feeds it back outside to Towns. They go to Hatcher on the far side. As Hatcher drives, gives it to Klein, goes to the lane to Fletcher, firing out of the corner, good. Fletcher, 54-46, an 8-point advantage for Williamson. As Eads works it toward the front court for the Tigers, firing from midcourt to buzzer. So at the end of the third quarter of play, it is the Williamson Wolfpack 54, the Princeton Tigers 46. And we'll be back with more. First, let's pause for this. 54-46, Bob. Fourth quarter, Tigers got 8 minutes.
Well, they've got 8 minutes. They are being out field goal by 19 to 21. So they're only 2 field goals behind at this point in the ball game. They're behind, surprisingly, 8 of 15 from the foul line as compared to 10 of 13 for Williams. Princeton is hitting right at this, looking a little under over 50% of their free throws. They on the season are averaging 70-something%.
What's the rebounding, Troy?
For Williamson, they pulled down 7 rebounds compared to Princeton 3 in that quarter.
How many?
7 to 3.
We're ready for the fourth quarter. The Tigers come out. They come out with Miller, Eads, DeWitt, Strain, and Quill. Williamson will come out with Maynard, Towns, Hatcher, Klein, and Fletcher. And we'll have Jim Miller in the jump against Bobby Fletcher of Williamson. As Fletcher standing with one foot in the circle, now Miller moves in, waiting on the official. The official moves in, the tip controlled by the Tigers as Quill outruns everybody for it and gives it to Stephon. He gives it to Eads. Mike will move it to the front court for the Tigers. Tigers going right to left as we face the court. As Quill with the ball, starts it toward the key. Jumps, fires, no good off the iron. Rebound pulled down by Williamson. Pulling it down was Fletcher. As Fletcher could be the most valuable player on this team. He gets it out to Maynard in the front court. They go to Klein underneath. Klein moves the ball out of bounds. It'll be Tiger ball.
I don't know about that one, Glenn.
I couldn't tell. Everybody was up for me.
Williamson first thought there was somebody on his back, maybe.
As Will to the front court for Preston. To DeWitt. He's on the wing, right side at the quarter court. Looking underneath, they get it to Stephon on the base side. Brings it outside to Will, top of the key to Eads on the left side. Works toward the lane, goes into the lane. Ball knocked loose. Out of bounds, it'll be Tiger ball out of their own basket. As DeWitt will inbound it. Tigers stack him on the lane, left side. They bring it into Miller in traffic. They trip him, put him on the floor. He feeds it back outside to Will. To DeWitt, comes down the lane, fires off the glass. No good rebound. Fought down by Williamson. As Fletcher again controls for Williamson. Boy, that guy's got a bundle of rebounds tonight. In the front court with it for Williamson is Hatcher. They bring it to the near side to Fletcher, firing off the iron. No good rebound to Eads. 7 minutes to play in the ball game. Tigers trail by 8, 54 to 46. Eads into the front court with it. On the dribble, leaves it for Will. Will goes to the lane, left side. Gives it to Eads. Eads starts it toward the lane. Takes the shot. They give it to Witt on the far side. Looks underneath. They got Miller on the low post. Firing out the lane. In and out, no good. It horseshoed around. And Williamson controls the Klein rebound. Klein to the front court with it to Fletcher. On the baseline. Outside with it to Hatcher. Now to Towns. As Towns down to center circle. Starts it toward the top of the key. Backs it out. Takes it toward the left side. Still working with the ball. Gives it to Hatcher on the near side. Hatcher to Klein. As Klein out on the high post. Gives it to Hatcher on the near side. He starts it toward the baseline. Brings it back now. 6:19 to play, and Williamson working the clock, and Williamson wants a timeout. So with 6:18 left to play in the ball game, Williamson 54, Princeton 46. We'll be back. Let's pause for this. Terry, he said with 6 minutes left, Jim Miller with 1 foul. Let him start crashing the board. What he gets away with, we get buckets out of it. What he gets called on, he will take a foul.
Well, they're going to have to get those rebounds. Bobby Fletcher on that offensive rebound boards has just been fantastic.
Oh, he's got a handful of rebounds tonight. You think so, Charlie?
Sure does. Team-wise, I think it's about 25 to 17 they're leading, but it seems like more than that to me.
I thought Fletcher had 25 himself.
Yeah, seems like it.
Williamson will have the ball out of bounds right down in front of us here. As Curtis Towns will inbound it. As Towns puts it in the back court to Hatcher. Hatcher on the dribble with it. Will picks him up, knocks the ball loose, couldn't get to it. As Hatcher picks it up, gets it to Towns. Towns goes toward the baseline on the near side. Backs it out of trouble, drops it underneath the Klein. He's on the baseline, works his way under Miller, corks him, and the ball comes off to Stephon. The crowd wanted to foul on Miller. Didn't get it.
Klein charged in there and sort of stuffed the swing around quite a bit.
Miller with the ball, goes across the lane, running hook shot, got it. Jim Miller, 54 to 48. Tigers within 6. As Hatcher into the front court with it for Williamson. Cool. Puts the hands on him, puts him right on up the floor. They get it to Towns. Drops it underneath. It's knocked loose. We got a whistle and a foul. That's on DeWitt, I believe. That's number 4 on DeWitt, if we're right. Number 3 on DeWitt. It is on DeWitt. And that's number 4. Team foul number 3 on the Tigers. So it'll be out of bounds. for the Wolfpack. We'll have it on the baseline. 5:43 left to play in the ball game. Williamson 54, Princeton 48. As Towns gives the ball to Hatcher, they go around the horn to Klein, firing the corner. It's off the iron, no good. Miller rebounds in traffic. Gives it out to Guell. Scooter into the front court with it under control. Now he throws it to the lane, picks it up to give it to Eads. Eads throws it toward the baseline. Gives it back outside to Scooter. He goes to the left, to the right side, gives it to Witt, goes to the baseline, drops it in the lane to Eads. Hook shot, no good. Rebound, pulled down by Klein. Klein into the front court with it. Gives it to Towns. Goes down, fires over Guell, no good. Rebound by Klein. Puts it up, good. Mark Klein puts Williamson up by 8, 56-48. As Guell into the front court with it for the Tigers. To Miller on the wing, gives it back to Guell, goes across the top of the key, starts toward the right side to the Witt, firing out of the corner, good. James DeWitt, 23 feet, puts it in, 56-50. Tigers trail by 6, 4:57 to play in the ball game. As Towns inbounds it to Hatcher. Hatcher into the front court with it, under a full head of steam. As Guell finally runs him down, he gets it to Towns, goes down the lane, fires, good. Curtis Towns drives the lane and gets the bucket. 58-50. Behind the back dribble by Guell. They lose one man into the front court. Fires on the run. In and out. No good. Rebound pulled down by DeWitt. Puts it up in the air. James DeWitt. As DeWitt runs Hatcher down. No foul. As Hatcher goes down into the lane. Runs over Miller. We got a charge. Charge foul on Williams Hatcher. So that's going to bring a crowd to it now. Because this one has number 3 on Hatcher. It'll be a shooting foul. You don't let the ball go. I don't know. It should be a loose ball foul. No, they're going to give it out of bounds for the Tigers. As Jeff St. Clair comes back into the ball game for the Tigers now. As the official comes over to get a foul, them off the floor. Now the crowd is upset because Scooter Guell body shot Hatcher right down in front of him, and Hatcher went on down and then charged Miller. They called a charge on him.
Well, it was a blatant charge. I mean, Jimmy had good position, excellent position.
What'd you call this down here?
I couldn't see it for the head.
What'd you call it down there?
I believe we got away with one right there.
All right. As long as we get away with it, it's all right.
We need 4 more.
St. Clair into the front court with it to Miller. Miller on the wing. He's at the corner court. Gives it back to Jeff. They come to Eads on the near side. Holds it overhead, looking underneath. Now they got Miller on the low post. They give it to Stephon in the lane. Fake. Fires. Good. They say no goal. They say he was fouled. No, he was fouled before he went up.
Who's the foul on?
On Klein, I believe. No, it's not. It is on Fletcher. Foul on Fletcher, and that is his 3rd team foul.
Oh, there's 7, 6, 7, 8.
Okay, so that'll put Stephon on the line to shoot a 1-and-1. 58-52. Tigers trailing by 6. Stephon on the line to shoot a 1-and-1. The Tigers have missed the front end of a 1-on-1 3 or 4 times tonight.
Not a good foul shooting night for Princeton.
Stephon on the line. He's ready. He'll shoot a 1-and-1. He'll fire with the right hand. It's on the way. And good. He'll get a second one. Stephon finessed and formed that one in there.
Stephon said they don't ask for the foul. They just ask for the foul minute.
And Stephon's ready again. He's got it on the way. It's off the front of the iron. No good. Eads rebounds in traffic. Brings it outside. Tigers control. Eads goes down the lane. Fires out of the lane. Off the iron. No good. Rebound. Pulled down by Williamson as Schwartz pulls it off. He gets it out to Hatcher. To Klein. Goes under. Puts up at the end. 60-53. The Tigers had a chance, and now they come up with nothing. As St. Clair brings it back to the front court to Stephon. To DeWitt in the corner. Comes around his man. Firing from 25 feet. Puts it up short. He goes to the floor. Picked up by Schwartz. As they double team him, he gets it out to Fletcher. Fletcher into the front court. Flips it over to Klein. Goes under, fires. No good. We got a whistle and a foul on Eads, I believe, underneath. And it is on Eads. That's number 2 on Mike. Team foul number 4, but they'll shoot 2 on that one. And that'll put Klein on the free throw line to shoot 2.
Well, that may have been the Princeton's chance right there. May have cut it to 3. And now it stands that they can go down by 9 right here.
Mark Klein on the free throw line for the Wolfpack. Fires. It's good. He'll have a second. What have they shot in free throws tonight? How many they missed? 2 all night?
3.
3.
Right now they're 11 of 14.
Klein fires again. It's in and out, no good. Rebound pulled down by Miller. Feeds it out to St. Clair. Into the front court with it to DeWitt. He's on the baseline. Dribbles out of trouble with it. Gives it to Mike Eads. To Jeff St. Clair, top of the key. To Eads on the wing. Quarter court, right side. That's DeWitt with the ball. Gives it back to St. Clair. Brings it toward the near side. To Eads on the wing, left side. Drops it to Stephon on the baseline. Firing off the baseline. It's on the iron. Comes off no good. Rebound pulled down by Williamson. Klein into the front court with it. Leaves it for Fletcher. And we've got a whistle. We could have a traveling call. We've got a charge, I believe, on Fletcher, don't we?
Well, yes, I believe we do.
3-4. It is a charge on Fletcher, and it is number 4 on Fletcher. Now, that'll be a shooting foul because that ball was loose when he hit him. 3:13 to play, 61-53. The Tigers trail by 8. And we'll have Jeff St. Clair on the free throw line to shoot a one-on-one. And Fletcher talking to the official in the lane down there right now. 3:13 to play in the ball game. It is Williamson 61, Princeton 53. Princeton has not led since very, very early in the ball game.
I believe the only lead they had was 2-0. Then they went behind 6-2.
St. Clair on the line for Princeton. Ready to fire. He puts it up. It's good. He'll have another one. 61-54. 7-point advantage for the Williamson Wolfpack over the Princeton Tigers. Carried the water bottle, too.
He's 5 of 6 so far tonight.
I saw Fowler carrying the warm-up bag.
It's a good ball team. There's no doubt about it.
As Klein fires, it's good. 64-54, 10-point advantage to Williamson. 2:10 to play in the ball game. The Tigers trailing by 10 big ones right now. As Klein fires, it's off the iron, no good. Rebound run down by the Witt. Comes on the dribble into the front court. Cross court with it to Eads. Fakes his man, goes up, puts it on the glass, got it, and he is fouled. Eads could get a 3-point play here, 64-56. Eads could cut it to 7 with the free throw. So now the Tigers have not shot well from the free throw line tonight.
And this, so far in the fourth quarter, they're 2 of 4.
Eads on the line.
Going into the fourth quarter, they were 50% almost.
Eads fires. It's good. 64-57. 7-point advantage for Williamson now. as the Tigers will press. The inbound pass comes in the Klein. They double team in the backcourt. He gets in the front court to Towns. Towns comes down, gives it underneath. He forced. The shot is blocked by Miller. Picked up by Stefan. As Strain gives it to the Witt. A minute 50 to play. As the Witt comes down into the lane, drops it to Miller, goes under. Ball not loose. He is fouled. He is fouled underneath by Towns. That's number 3 on Towns. A minute 49 to play. It is 64 to 57. And Miller on the line for the Tigers.
Miller is having cramps in his calf.
I see him shoving the socks down. It looks like he's having some calves, the cramp there. It could be. As Jim ready to fire. He puts the first one up. It's good. Usually they push those socks down. They're having some cramps in the calf muscles. As Jim ready to fire again. He fires. It's good. 64-59. A 5-point game now with the Tigers trailing. And the Tigers will press as they bring it in to Towns. He gets it back to Hatcher. Hatcher on the dribble with it. Brings it toward the front court. They triple team him. He gets it up to Klein. Klein drives. No good. Tipped up once. No good. Rebound tipped around. And it's controlled by the Tigers out of bounds. Or somebody knocks out of bounds as Miller and East collide and fall out of bounds. It'll be Williamson ball.
That was one of those balls that was flirting with the out-of-bounds line, and both Jimmy and Mike East went for it, and the official ruled it was out of bounds, and it was a good call.
DeWitt helps them both up. 5-point advantage, a minute 38 to play. Williamson leading. As the inbound pass comes in to Hatcher. Hatcher out front with it, running with the ball. Dribbling, gives it back over across court to Towns. They spit it out in the 4 corners. As Towns dribbling, penetrates the corner court, comes across the lane on the dribble. Gives it back outside to Hatcher. A minute 26 to play as Hatcher goes across court, and St. Clair trying to tie him up. He gets it out to Klein. Klein brings it across to Towns. Towns back to Klein. Goes toward the lane. Sees Miller backs it away. As Klein starts it into the lane again. Still dribbling. And gives it outside to Towns. It's Curtis Towns. Brings it across the lane on the circle. Gives it to Hatcher. Hatcher dribbling back across court with a minute 5 to play as the Tigers cannot catch him to foul him. And now we got a charging foul on Towns. Checking on Hatcher. As he fouls, that's number 4, Hatcher. Who'd he foul? Eads or St. Clair? As Eads. And that'll put Eads as a loose ball foul. So that'll put Eads on the line to shoot a 1-and-1. 64-59, a minute 2 to play. The Tigers are still in this ball game. They still have time. Eads could get them within 3, and the Tigers want a timeout. The Tigers want a timeout.
Williamson wants one too.
As Williamson gets the timeout, does not charge the Tigers. How about that? For Williamson. Left to play in the ball game. Williamson calls a timeout. So a timeout on the floor. We got Williamson 64, Princeton 59. We'll be back right after this. A minute and 2 seconds left to play in the ball game. We've got Williamson 64, Princeton 59. Mike Keys will be on the free throw line for the Tigers. And we've got, I don't know what's going on, but we've got a policeman running up through here for some reason or other. And he's telling somebody down on the court to sit down and behave himself or leave the gym. And we get somebody else coming across and the other fans don't like it. And this crowd will tightly packed they are. It could be dangerous. As the Tigers break their huddle, ready to go back. We'll have Mike Eads on the free throw line for the Tigers. He will shoot a 1-and-1. Eads is ready. He puts the first one up. It's good. He'll have a second one. 64-60. Tigers trail by 4 now. A minute and 2 seconds to play. As Eads on the line, ready to go again. He fires. It's good. 64-61. 3-point deficit for the Tigers. As the Tigers will press, the ball is loose on the floor. The official comes out and retrieves it, takes it back, and he'll hand it to Julius Hatcher, who will inbound it. As they bring it inside to Towns on the far side, gets it over to Klein. Klein will bring it to the front court on the right side as DeWitt picks him up. Leaves it for Hatcher. They double team Hatcher, and DeWitt come away with the ball, but they called him for the foul. That's number 5 on DeWitt. And that will put Hatcher on the free throw line. That's team foul number 5 on the Tigers. Fletcher on the free throw line to shoot a 1-and-1 for the Williamson Wolfpack. 64-61 with 54 seconds left to play in the ball game. Williamson having led most all the games that's very, very, very early. I think Princeton had a 2-0 lead, and that was the last time they saw the lead. As Hatcher on the line. Of course, a miss right here would be awful good, but they've been shooting very good from that free throw line.
So far, from the free throw line, Townsend thought he had an opportunity. It's his first foul.
As Hatcher on the line. Julius Hatcher fires. It is off the iron, no good. Rebound to Miller in traffic. Gives it out to St. Clair. Jeff into the front court with it to Eads. Into the corner. Holds it up, gives it back outside to St. Clair. 46 seconds on the clock. They go inside to Stephon. Puts it up. Good! 64-63. The Tigers pressing as Hatcher with the ball for Williamson. It's in the front court. Picked up by Fletcher. As Fletcher holds it up at the corner court. Gives it outside to Towns. Towns gives it back to Fletcher. Looking underneath with 28 seconds to play. As Fletcher is fouled by Stephon Strain. That's number 3 on Stephon.
Oh, what we wouldn't give for a miss here. What we wouldn't give for one miss the first time he throws it up.
26 seconds to play. 64-63. Williamson leading Princeton. And Princeton will be on the defense as right now Bobby Fletcher of the Williamson Wolfpack will be on the free throw line. And Fletcher is a fine shooter.
4 of 6 from the foul line tonight.
He's hit more better than that from the floor, hasn't he?
Yes, he has. But he's had that little, they've got him up.
He's limping a little bit like he's got a sprained ankle, so the Tigers want a timeout. So with 26 seconds left to play in the ball game, Williamson 64, Princeton 63. We'll be back right after this. Crowd's on the floor. Look in the corners. They can't get the crowd back off the floor.
Do you remember that Oak Hill gym? The old Oak Hill gym? They only had about 47 feet of playing surface.
Yeah, we're on the air.
We are.
Tell us about that 47 feet of playing surface.
Well, they no longer play in old Red Devil
It was
field
bad
house.
because somebody cut across the middle of the saw one place or another.
You had about 3 feet on both sides in a game like this that would be used up with people. You didn't have a whole floor to play on.
We got people standing all around this place. I don't know. There's a few sitting down. They're tired, I guess. The Tigers out there right now with Jim Miller, Stephon Strain, Shooter Guell, Mike Eads, and Jeff St. Clair. Williamson comes out with Kenny Schwartz, Bobby Fletcher, Mark Klein, Curtis Towns, and Julius Hatcher. And Bobby Fletcher on the free throw line for the Wolfpack. He'll shoot a 1-and-1. He's ready. The fans start whooping it up. And Fletcher fires it up. It's no good. Rebound comes off to the Tigers. Will picks it up. 25 seconds to play. He's with the ball for the Tigers. Bring it to the front court, to the left side. To St. Clair, top of the key with directing traffic. Brings it back to Eads, looking underneath. They can't get Miller open. He gives it back to Eads again. Eads goes toward the lane. Ends the lane. Gives it out to St. Clair. Back to Eads. Eads fires from the left side. In and out. No good. Foul on Miller. On the rebound. Good foul. Good foul. Miller foul. 5 seconds to play. That's number 3 on Jeff. And that will put Bobby Fletcher back on the free throw line again for Williamson.
And I don't believe Bobby Fletcher's going to miss again, Glenn.
5 seconds to play. 64-63. Williamson leading. Fletcher on the line. He's ready. He fires. It's good. 65-63. Williamson leading. As they're trying to get some of the crowd out front of the bucket. Fletcher will go back to the line for one more. Tigers trailing by 2 now with 5 seconds to play. As Fletcher on the line again for the Williamson Wolfpack. He fires, and it is good. 66-63 with 5 seconds to play. Stephon throws it up court. Not loose, picked up by Williamson. And foul on Kenny Schwartz by Jeff St. Clair. Miller's on the floor, and he's feeling of his left foot. Now he's getting up. That's number 4 on St. Clair. As Miller limping on that left foot. He's had a slightly sprained ankle. He's working it out now. He looks all right. 3 seconds to play. And they'll put Kenny Schwartz on the free throw line for Williams. seconds to play in the ball game. 66-63, Williamson leading Princeton. On the free throw line is Kenny Ford. He fires. It is no good. Miller rebounds with 3 seconds. Brings it to the front court. Buzzer goes off. That's the ball game. Final score, Williamson 66. 63. We'll get back with wrap-up. First, miss balls for this Missy. Score, the Williamson Wolfpack 66, the Princeton Tigers 63. As Princeton put together 4 quarters of 13 points, 17 points, 16 points, and 17 points for a game total of 63 points. Williamson putting together 4 quarters of 21 points, 13 points, 20 points, and 12 points for a game total of 66. The Tigers falling behind in the first quarter, never coming back to take the lead. They got within 1 point many times, could never get the lead, and having the foul late in the ball game, Williamson converting a couple of fouls to give them their final margin, 66-63. We'll be back with stats, first miss balls for this. Fine ball game. Williamson, a very fine ball club, and deserving at #1 rating in the state the way they played here against tonight. The Tigers put the pressure on them. Williamson would not fold, they would not wilt, they would not bend. The Tigers coming up 3 points short, after coming up short about 8 points the other night against the #1 rated team in the state of Tennessee. Hello, Jack. As the Tigers going down to the feet, running their season record out now to about 10-5 on the season. And we'll be back with more. First, let's pause for this.
Game total shows they made 24, 58, 41%. Williamson had a very fine shooting night, made 26 of 47 for 55%. They also out-rebounded Princeton tremendously, 40-28. Turnover-wise, Williamson committed 18 turnovers compared to 7 for Princeton. Very fine rebounding team, very fine team, I think, for Williamson. Probably, they're the best team I have seen, high school team so far. Bob, are you ready?
I'm ready, and I'll say that they're better than Dobbins-Bennett, unless Dobbins-Bennett was not playing well the 2 games we saw. First, for the Williamson Wolfpack, who only had 6 players scoring. First, Scott Maynard came into the ball game because of foul trouble, hit 1 field goal, 2 points. Mark Klein, the 6'7.5" sophomore who handles the ball remarkably well, 5 field goals, 6 of 7 from the foul line, 16 points. Julius Hatcher, 4 field goals, 2 of 4 at the foul line, 10 points. Curtis Towns, 3 field goals, 0 for 1 at the foul line, 6 points. The big scorer tonight for Williamson, Bobby Hatcher, 7 field goals, 6 of 9 from the foul line, 20 points. The other scorer for them, Kenny Schwartz, had 6 field goals, 0 for 1 at the foul line, 12 points. With the exception of Fletcher, all of the Williamson players are below their average. For Princeton, Mike Eads had 3 field goals, 5 of 8 at the foul line, 12 points on the night. Jeff St. Clair had 3 field goals, 2 of 4 at the foul line, 8 points. James DeWitt, who fouled out, had 5 field goals for 10 points. Stephon Strain, 3 field goals, 1 of 3 at the foul line, 7 points. Jimmy Miller, 9 field goals, 7 of 9 from the foul line, 25 points, giving Princeton a total of 24 field goals as compared to 26 for Williamson. 15 of 24 from the foul line as compared to 14 of 22 for Williamson. Princeton 63, Williamson 66. An excellent ball game, and one I think we ought to say was well officiated. I have no complaints. It was a good ball game from start to finish. Williamson just literally outplayed us, out-hustled us, and it looked to me like they might have even out-conditioned us.
Well, Williamson, in my opinion, is deserving of the #1 rating in the state of West Virginia. They did everything that was expected of them. The Tigers made a run at them. They made another run at them. They tried to put pressure on them. We could not press them. The rebounding was superlative. So what more could you ask of the team to do? They did all that you could ask them to do.
Now we've got to go up to Williamson. They tell me it's a little bit bigger than Princeton High School. And
would be easier to beat them up there then.
Do what?
It'd be easier to beat them up there.
Why?
It would be bigger. The thing is, you get in these small rings, these little guys, they're fast, it's tough. Get them in a big ring, they can run, but they can't hide.
Hey, Glenn, them look like big horses out there from Williamson. That's a big
Get them on a big court, we'll run them down.
I don't know. That looks like a fine ball team, no matter where they're playing.
All right, we'll be back with more wrap-up. First, let's pause for this message.
Final
We're back
score.
at the Tiger Gymnasium, and Bob, what were you going to say?
I was going to say something to the effect final score of 66-63. Princeton going down in a game that the final score is actually closer than the game we saw. Williamson came out in the first quarter, went ahead 21-13. And basically that was the margin of difference up through the middle of the third quarter and until that late run at 3-minute mark in the fourth quarter. Princeton made that run with about 3 minutes to go. They got within 1 point. Williamson went to the foul line, took the ball game away from Princeton by making most of their foul shots. Bobby Fletcher missed one opportunity on the 1-and-1. Good ball game. You couldn't ask for more from two high school ball teams.
Williamson awesome on the rebounding.
That's
sheet.
right.
You got the recap for me on the total stats.
Okay. It showed that Williamson was 40 of 28 for rebounds, and I thought that's a big key right there.
Rebounds, we had Williamson with 40, Princeton with 28.
Right.
Okay.
And Williamson hit 55%, 26 of 47. Princeton 24 of 58 for 41%.
Okay, Princeton's percentage was what? 41%. And Williamson was what?
55.
55%. What about turnovers?
Turnovers 18-7. Williamson 18.
Okay. As Coach Ralph Ball joins us, and Coach, the kids made the runs at Williamson and so forth, but when you're playing in competition where you're playing the number one rated teams in the states back to back, sometimes they just don't fold under pressure, do they?
Well, no, our kids really came back good and came down to one shot, and the thing went in and come out, so that's about as close as you can get it.
They had horseshoed around and then came out. But the thing is, the Tigers put the pressure on the Wolfpack. They made the runs at them. They put them under the gun, and Williamson still didn't panic. They just couldn't get them to panic.
Yeah, they've got a good ball team. When you're 17-0, you got to have a good ball team. You can't win 17 games against anybody without being a good ball team.
But Williamson is probably as big and as quick a high school team for that kind of size we've seen in quite a while.
Yeah, they've got an outstanding ball team. They've got 4 seniors there and 1 sophomore starting. And we, like I say, they've been number one all year, and we're not far away. We just got to get better.
Well, just a couple of small things, and it could have been altogether different. Now, I'm going to ask you about something late in the game. We noticed Jimmy Miller pushing his socks down. Was he suffering maybe from a leg cramp or two?
Well, he has a little trouble with that at times. I don't know, maybe from jumping or something, but he does have a little trouble, and it gives him trouble. Not enough to bother him, just aggravating, a little pain that type.
In the first quarter, Williamson came out and hit 8 out of the first 10 shots, and they got an 8-point lead on us. And we got back within 4. Then they came out in the third quarter, and hit their first 5 field goal attempts.
Well, they shot real well, especially to get them, like you say, to get them out in front. And then we're playing uphill all night. That makes a big difference. We didn't. I don't suppose both teams were up real high. I don't think either one of them played their best basketball. I know we didn't. Our kids played awful hard, and maybe a little too hard, maybe up a little bit too high. But like I say, it came down to really anybody's ball game.
Well, the Tigers came out on the losing end of the score by 3 points, but there's no way in the world that the kids can hang their head because they gave it everything they had. A couple of breaks here and there, a couple of free throws that were dropped on the front end of a 1-and-1. The last second shot that Eads put on the glass and horseshoed out, and this thing could have been altogether different.
Oh, yeah, that shot goes in, we win the ball game. That's what it's down to.
And if we could have gotten them into overtime, they had 4 people with 4 fouls.
Right, that would have made a big difference, too. We did everything but win. That's what it amounted to. We just came right down to the wire, and you're down to 1 shot. He goes in, we win. It goes out, they won, and that's what had happened.
The Tigers now have to wait for Oak Hill coming in on Saturday night. Now, Oak Hill has got a very young ball club, a very improving ball club, and at any one time, they can get hot on us.
They're about 12-5 on the year.
And, of course, for a young ball club, now they've got a couple of sophomores playing, and you just don't know what kind of games those sophomores will have from time to time.
Yeah, well, they're bigger than we are. They've got 2 or 3 boys about 6'5" or 6'6", and that's really hurt us all year. Everybody is we got one big boy, and after that, we're just the average size.
Or a little less, because our guard size is not large at all.
Right. We give away a lot of size. We gave away probably 8, 10, 12 inches tonight.
Well, the Tigers have lost 5 ball games this year, Ralph. And in total points, there's 4, and 2 would be 6, 7, and 5 more would be 12, and 3 would be 15. Now, if you had another 16 points that are split up around there somewhere, you'd be in awful good shape.
Well, that's true. Nobody's beat us bad. We've stayed in there and played hard every game.
Well, I think that the Tigers knew what they had to do out here tonight, and just when they tried to do it, it seemed like, maybe, as you say, maybe they were a little too high. It seemed like their timing may have been just a half a second off on the releasing of the shot. It would spin in and out. It would get too high on the glass. Or how do you explain that?
Well, I think it's probably up a little bit too high. We threw the ball away a couple of times that we had easy buckets. We missed 2 or 3 easy buckets under the bucket. And then we, a couple of times there, we took a couple of bad shots there when we didn't need to. And those things, you can't do it against a good ball team.
Of course, now, the next time you play Williamson, you have to play them on the road. However, that's a couple of weeks away. And right now, the first thing to worry about is Oak Hill, and then you have to worry about Beckley. But Beckley comes after Oak Hill. But by the way, Beckley beat Norfolk last night.
Beckley has a good ball team. Oak Hill is split with Beckley. Everybody in Glen has good ball teams. You have to be up every night or you get beat.
Let's talk just a minute. Now, we didn't get a chance to talk to you on the second night down in Tennessee. The crowd, we were way up top and couldn't get to you and so forth. But the Tigers went down there and accounted themselves superbly. They just gave a superb account of themselves on the final night. Again, a couple of breaks, and they could have came home with the 2 wins. But, Ralph, of the 4 teams that was there, there's no doubt in my mind that Princeton is as good or better than any of the 4.
Well, we can play with any of them. Like I say, it comes down to we're having trouble winning these good ones. We come around, we're knocking at the door and just can't get inside, and we have to try to improve. We've got 3 weeks of basketball left before tournaments begin, and we've just got to work and try to improve a little bit every day and every game, and that's a big factor.
Well, when it does break, it'll probably go for the way. Late in the ball game, when the Tigers really making a run. Now, one time we got within 3 points, and Williamson was on the free throw line. You called the timeout. What did you set at that time?
When was that? Near the ball, end of the ball?
Right near the ball game, because the guy missed the free throw. He was kind of icing a shooter, I guess. But then we came out with the rebound, went down, got the bucket, and got within 1 point right there.
Well, we was trying to set our defense up and trying to decide which board to foul if we had to, and try to get the ball out there and try to run a pattern to get the ball downside. We was trying to get it inside, and we couldn't. They jammed it up in there, and the play we was trying to work, they just jammed it up and we couldn't pass the ball inside. But we was trying to set up the next play and try to decide who we was going to foul, and well, I guess that was the main thing.
Well, I think that all in all, when you look at it now over the season, the Tigers have accounted themselves very well. When you play the type of schedule that the Tigers have played, now we have played in the last 3 weeks, 4 teams that's been rated in the top 10 of 2 different states. We had Sullivan North and Dobbins Bennett in the top 10 of Tennessee. We played Norfolk, not very long ago for the Armory. We played Williamson. But Norfolk is number 2 in one poll, number 1 in another poll, depending on whether it's a combined poll or not. Williamson, of course, rated number 1 in each of their polls. You just got to be expecting to take your lumps, because anything on a given night will hurt you, and you come up with a loss.
Well, basketball overall is up. Oak Hill's good, Beckley's good, Bluefield's good. Everybody's good, and it produces better ball teams, and then you play these excellent good ball teams, and state rated, and you've got to play even better. So it's just a matter of every game that's just hanging there and just play with all you got.
But at the same time, the person who wants to see a good basketball game and a sporting event would have been he would have spent his money well here tonight to come down and watch the ball game. Now, it was a very good ball game to watch.
Right. Spectator-wise, I guess it was real good.
From your viewpoint, it probably wasn't as much fun as it was from my viewpoint.
No, the outcome wasn't very desirable, no.
No, the outcome wasn't, but again, as we're sitting up here watching a ball game, enjoying it, well, you've got to be figuring what you can do next and what you got to do next. We can enjoy some of the things, I guess, that you can't, because you've got your mind on different things. But as from a spectator viewpoint, the Tigers have played very good basketball this year and very exciting basketball.
Right, and we've got to play better. We played hard and played good, but we got, counting this week, we got 3 weeks before tournaments begin, and we just got to approach every day and try to get better, and every game and try to get better, because this is where it starts counting, and if you can improve 1 or 2 buckets a game, it makes a big difference.
That's right, 1 or 2 buckets, and we would have won all those ball games. Ralph, congratulations on a very good trip to Tennessee, on a good effort by the team here tonight. Even though we came up a little short, the Tigers still acquitted themselves well, and we enjoy watching them play. Thanks for the game.
Right.
Ralph Ball, the head coach of the Princeton Tigers, up visiting with us. And closing comments, fellas.
The most impressive thing about this ball game, other than Princeton lost, is the play of the sophomore, to me, the Klein boy for Williamson. That has to be one of the best sophomores I've seen.
Charlie?
I thought it was a very exciting ball game. I've seen a very good team here tonight. I thought both teams played very, very well. And Williamson has to be the best team I've seen so far this year, Glenn. They've got size. They rebound very well, very well. They shoot very good, and they've got the speed outside to hurt you.
You can't press them.
That's right. You can't press them. You can't play them.
They play smart.
That's right. They do.
They're well coached. They're well coached. All right. The Tigers defeated here tonight, dropped their season record to 10-5 on the season. We'll be in action right here on Saturday night when Jim Lilly brings his Oak Hill Red Devils in to take on the Tigers. Of course, if all of you remember, back on January the 10th, we went over to Oak Hill and stung them 67-43. And
At this point, no team has come within 10 points of Williamson in the final score. Most of the teams as much as 20, 25 points behind this Williamson team. This is by far and away the closest game they've had at 3 points. But up to this point, it's all been 10 points, but 11 points is actually the closest anybody's been to them.
Okay, final score of the night. Williamson 66, Princeton 63. We'll be back here Saturday night when the Oak Hill Red Devils come to town. We'll be hitting the airways about 7:45. We expect to see you put your face in the place. And those of you who are not going to be here, raise your hand right now and we'll sell your seat. I'm Glenn May, speaking of...
Here's Jim with all the details.
Thank you, Tiny. It was a big game over at Princeton High School tonight. If you were able to find a place to stand, you were lucky, never mind a place to sit down. But it was bad news for the Tigers just the same. They lost to Williamson, the top-ranked team in the state, 66-63. Princeton was behind by a point with 5 seconds left to go in the game, but they missed the shot, and then they fouled Williamson. Williamson made both ends of both free throws, and so the final score again, Williamson 66, Princeton 63. Williamson still undefeated with an 18-0 record. Princeton now 10-5. Jimmy Miller had 25 points for the Tigers, and the Wolfpack was led by Bobby Fletcher, who tossed in 20. Some other high school scores now. Spanishburg beat Montcalm 56-46. Athens dumped Herndon 63-52. It was Greenbrier West over Nicholas 72-52. Mate won over Phelps of Kentucky 74-51. Lenore slipped past Mann 80-76. It was Van over Glen Rogers 76-55. Oak Hill dumping Fayetteville 83-32. And Pocahontas beating Franklin 68-62. Now the latest rankings are out, and Williamson is the solid favorite, number 1. Again, they're 18-0. North Fork is still number 2, even though they lost to Beckley. They're 15-1 now. St. Albans is third with a 15-2 record, followed by Buchanan, Wheeling Park. The Tigers are ranked 6th, and as I said, they fall to 10-5 after tonight's loss. Stonewall Jackson's 12-3. They're 7th. Beckley's moving up there now. They're in the 8th place after beating North Fork earlier this week. Parkersburg South is 9th, followed by North Marion, Brook. Oak Hill is in the 12th position with a 12-3 record. Lincoln is 13th, followed by Greenbrier East. They're 13-5. South Charleston is tied with Parkersburg for the 15th spot. Hurricane is 17th. Bluefield dropped a few notches this week. They're tied for 18th place with Independence. The Beavers are 8-7 right now. And there are 4 teams tied for the 20th spot. Charleston, Kaiser, Bailey'sville with a 14-4 record, and